everybody, welcome back to Lightspeed. We're back at it again. Got another adventure episode for you guys.
Hello.
Let's go.
Fucking. We're starting with one I really like, actually. It says, I gotta scroll up and find it. This is fucking, Bill and Ted. No, not Bill and Ted. This is Doc and Marty and fucking Mr. Peabody and Sherman. And yeah, okay. Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Doc and Marty McFly. The Time Lord, the Doctor, along with his companion, have disappeared, and in his stead, two duos step out to take their place. Which duo will serve as the better Doctor? We got GA going for Peabody and Sherman, and Butter going for Doc and Marty. You do well with them, Butter. Do not fail them.
I will not.
But Mr. Peabody and Sherman go first. So GA, what's your argument?
All right, so just for clarification first, I'm not the most knowledgeable on Doctor Who. The Doctor's whole thing is that it just kind of goes through time and just like helps people out, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
that's the most basic way you could put it.
That's the most oversimplification of it, but yeah.
That's fine. That's all I need. Okay. So, as I understand it, like one of the main things that a Doctor replacement would need to be able to do is like connect with the people in the places that he's traveling through time to. And I think Mr. Peabody and Sherman are far more suited to that than Doc and Marty, because well, Mr. Peabody and Sherman are both just like pretty cool guys. Like Mr. Peabody is like this super accomplished, like mega genius dog who like he has his eccentricities, but he's like a nice guy, like at his core. And Sherman's just like this kind of silly, goofy kid who's like it's hard to not like him. Like he's just a nice kid like that. Doc is this fucking like insane fucking antisocial weirdo who like built bombs for Libyan terrorists just so he could get some shit for his inventions. And Marty fucking set the rug on fire when he was 8 years old. Like he's fucking insane, dude. Like neither of them would be well suited to connect with people across like time and space. And like that would go even more so when they like run into trouble with like, because like the Doctor has to like fight a bunch of like fucking enemies and shit across the show, and like Mr. Peabody and Sherman are way more suited for that, because like Mr. Peabody is like very well trained in combat. Like we see in the movie that he's a very skilled swordsman. He matched like Robespierre during the French Revolution, and meanwhile, in like the research I did for Doc and Marty, I couldn't find like any major like weapons or anything that they would have to like defend themselves or whatever companions they go along with. And finally, the main point I'm going to make here, in terms of like their machines of going through time, the Wayback is way fucking better than the bitch ass DeLorean, because like the main thing is that like not only is the Wayback like a perfectly functional machine, like its only real requirement is that it like needs to be recharged every now and then. Like one important thing that I found is that the TARDIS has like a cloaking mechanism to be able to like disguise it when the Doctor isn't using it. And the Wayback actually has something similar, which we see in the movie, which they use like when they go through time to keep people from finding it. The DeLorean does not have that. So like if the Doctor's enemies come after Doc and Marty, they could just fucking destroy the DeLorean and they'd be like stranded in time. And the DeLorean's like a really shitty car anyway. Like it's not very well made for traveling through time. It has so many instances of like breaking down and like not working well in the Back to the Future movies that like it would not take much effort for the Doctor's enemies to just like trash the shit out of it and leave Doc and Marty stranded at whatever point in time they're at. So yeah, I think that's why Mr. Peabody and Sherman would be much better as the Doctor.
All right, good argument.
Mm-hmm. All right, then. So my argument for Doc and Marty. Now, starting out, I'm going to go with their personalities first. Yeah, Doc is a fine enough person. Like, he can socialize perfectly well. When he got trapped back in the Wild West, he made himself a perfect life. People knew him. He was a friendly guy. Like, he's not some insane, unstable guy that can't be socialized. Both Doc and Marty are relatively kind enough people. They're chill people. I don't think that they're going to have any social problems. Now, as far as I see it, the Doctor, one of my biggest issues with Peabody is it's not Peabody and Sherman who are qualified for this job. It's Mr. Peabody who's qualified for this job. where Sherman acts as much more of an anchor. Especially in the movie, it shows that he's still just a kid. Like, yeah, he's relatively smart, but we don't actually see him fighting like Mr. Peabody does. He just can name what kind of moves that Mr. Peabody does. Where Doc and Marty have actually gotten in physical confrontation before. And as well, they do have weapons, especially when you get into the cartoons, like how Doc has this disintegrator ray, which fired 7 shots, each one able to disintegrate the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs. The DeLorean itself being breakable to a degree that is true in just the films themselves, but also that is because he kind of made them on the spot. Like, or not on the spot. He wasn't trying to make them to be super durable, because later on in the third movie, he makes it out of a train, so it's a lot more reinforced. Like, that could take a lot more damage. The reason that they're often not in the best condition is because it's usually like, oh, well, the DeLorean got sent into the future, so now they don't have it. They're not going to get stranded in time. Doc got sent back to the cowboy era, and he still could make a flux capacitor to get back to the future, as he did in the third movie. It was just him actively choosing not to. And here's the big reason why. Because he is very responsible when it comes to the timeline and making sure not to cause significant changes to it. And that's where I think Mr. Peabody really slips up. In the movie, he's noted that, like, oh yeah, bumps are bound to happen, you know. The leaning of Tower of Pizza used to not be leaning. Not too much of a detriment, but then, like, at the end of the movie, he sends so much of modern tech across all of the timeline, just does not care about it. And that can be pretty detrimental, because, like, I know one of the big things is, like, you can't save lives. If they're supposed to die at that point in time, then they're supposed to die, and that's going to threaten reality if you save them. Where Doc and Marty are very, very mindful for trying not to commit those kinds of issues. And also, like I said, Marty is a much more mature, relatively smart, maybe not Doc smart, but smarter than smarter than.
I was about to say, you're not about to say Marty is smarter than Peabody.
Sorry, smarter than Sherman. Where Doc and Marty have a strong trust in each other. They don't argue. Mr. Peabody and Sherman have gotten in arguments before. Oftentimes it's because Sherman is being irresponsible. He's just being a kid. You know, you can't blame him, but Marty just has had more time to mature. And it's to the point, like, one example I'd like to use is with the book that has, like, all of the, when they were in the future, he got that book that had all the winning sports teams. And when he got it, and Doc saw that, he told Marty, no, you can't make money off of this. I didn't build the time machine to be selfish. I did it, you know, for the science and mankind and all that. And there was no argument about it. Marty didn't try and sneak it, try to, like, sneak it into the DeLorean and then use it for himself anyways. No, he threw it away, and then that was it. The fact that someone else took it was what ended up causing the movie. And that's essentially where I think this comes down to, is Doc and Marty are just way more responsible. Marty is far less of an anchor and a lot more of an asset. And I don't, like, they can fight, and they got crazy tech, like in the cartoons. It's a lot more, they get a lot more crazy, like the laser, which can destroy a meteor. So,
all right,
that's
okay.
I got a question.
Very in depth, yeah.
Go on.
If they're taking the place of the Doctor, wouldn't they both get the TARDIS? They're taking the role?
I thought the scenario outlined that they had the way back in the DeLorean.
It's the Time Lord, the Doctor, along with his companion, disappeared, and his steed, two duos, step in and take their place.
It doesn't specify that, but I kind of like it more as the debate if they don't get
sense for them to have their respective time machines. Yeah,
the DeLorean does have more, like, than you think, though. It does. It has, like, actual, like, shoot electric bolts and shit if you connect some wires.
Yeah, in the cartoon and games, it adds a lot more.
And
like,
the comics,
I think
there's, like, many variations of different time machines they create. They create, like, all kinds of time machines in different eras.
I forgot to bring this up. Apparently, there is something that if the DeLorean can go to certain aspects of time, like at certain spots.
What does that mean?
By itself, like as in like it can automatically go to a certain point in time.
Okay, like autopilot.
Yeah, so like they couldn't steal the DeLorean. It would just go to a certain time that Doc already has set up there.
Okay, but I'm not really arguing that they steal it. I'm arguing that they just like destroy it.
He was in the Wild West, and like the fact
that puts a damper on their performance as the Doctor, though.
I want to say I am like hyper unfamiliar with these characters, but what I understand though, I feel like Peabody and Sherman are much more like history buffs though, as opposed to just like Doc's thing is more so science, I'd assume. So I feel like he's just more knowledgeable.
Yeah, Peabody and Sherman have been to like so many different points in time and like met so many different fictional like figureheads in time.
I do have a question. Like, what world are we setting this in? Because like another issue that immediately came to mind was if it's not in Mr. Peabody's world, then he's also going to stick out like an extreme sore thumb as being a talking dog.
A bunch of weird stuff, though.
Come on, we got K9.
I feel like a talking dog is far from the weirdest thing in the Doctor Who universe. That's not going to be a huge detriment.
Like on Earth itself, I mean, like the Doctor blends in so well because he looks human, and that's kind of how he morphs. Yeah, like he has shown himself to be alien. It's not super detrimental, but I still think that that's a fair point that Doc and Marty would blend in a lot better.
Sure, because I don't really think that would be like a huge advantage for them, because Peabody's whole thing in the movie is that like once he's like not adopted as like a young puppy, he devotes his entire life to like learning as much as he can for the benefit of humanity. That's why he like invents so much of the stuff that he explains at the beginning of the movie. Like his whole thing is that he just like wants to make the world a better place than he left it, basically.
He just has to get that trust again. I think he can do it. But is the scenario who's the better Doctor or who will do it first?
Who would do it better?
Yeah, which is the better Doctor.
Yeah, and I would posit that like Sherman might be an anchor. I would argue that like in terms of like the difference between the events of the movie and like taking the place of the Doctor, like doing stuff as like taking the role of the Doctor would give Sherman a lot more to do than just like following Peabody through history and learning about it like just a basic history lesson. And so I think that he would probably like stray off the beaten path a little less in that aspect. And also I think Peabody is like, his competence is more than enough to like overcompensate for like any detriments Sherman would have, because like he is like, even compared to Doc Brown, he's ridiculously accomplished. Like he accomplished world peace in the movie by like walking into a United Nations summit and just rolling down like a fucking banner that said peace and pointing at it. And that accomplished world peace.
Peace.
As far as first, I don't think that just because the stakes are higher that means that he's going to make less mistakes. Because the thing was, he was making mistakes in terms of like large situations. The issue comes down that he's still a kid, and sometimes he just makes choices like that because he's a kid.
But so do the fucking companions that the Doctor regularly has. So that wouldn't be too like out of the ordinary in terms of this scenario that we're going into.
Well, yeah, but my issue is that I'm saying that these small advantages are things that I see add up. Like I see Doc being able to slip in a lot easier. I see Marty being a much bigger asset. Neither of them are going to be able to be stranded at any point in time because both could easily rebuild even in the most simplest of times. Like, you know, Doc was in the Wild West and he still could get back to the future. He just chose not to because he was being responsible with the timeline. And that's another big thing. It's just how irresponsible Mr. Peabody is when it comes to that.
Okay, but see, that specifically happened in like his version of the universe where like the timeline works in that specific way. I don't know if
he might not know in the Doctor Who verse that it's any different, and he might fuck that up.
He wouldn't. Yeah,
he would then cause things to fuck up because he doesn't know it's any different.
If we're assuming that this is taking place after the events of like the movie, like I don't think that he would like be so blasé that like he would let something like that happen again. Like that.
No,
he never had a problem just played out the way that they did.
No, he never had a problem with causing those issues. Like that wasn't the point of the movie. Like the point of the Back to the Future movie was they had to be very fragile with time because it could cause these changes. The point of the Mr. Peabody and Sherman movie was more about Mr. Peabody and Sherman's relationship. Them causing those time changes, those massive changes. They didn't care about that. Like
Well,
it wasn't
no,
like
that's not true, because like there are paradoxes that happen in the Peabody and Sherman movie as well. Like there's the whole thing about how you can't make contact with like yourself at a different point in time, otherwise it'll like cause a huge space cataclysm.
Go on, quote
actually,
Mr. Peabody. What did he directly say to Sherman? Go on.
Sure, come on.
I'm
Go
going
on.
to stop you from touching yourself.
Not probably word that
actually,
any other way.
that's another big thing too. Is the Doctor has had to go points in time. Like there's even a big point where he had to meet all of the versions of himself, and
I thought you were gonna say a big point too is he can't touch himself.
He can't.
Yeah, but again, if this is taking place in the Doctor Who universe with like the rules of that universe, that wouldn't be something they'd have to worry about. But it shows that they are careful with that sort of thing.
They do have to worry about that stuff.
No, like we're going by their. No, we're going by their universe rules. If we're going to give them their stuff,
that's
like,
not what we agreed on.
Doctor Who.
This is the Doctor Who universe's rules, not theirs.
So, okay, so
I think that benefits Doc and Marty more because Mr. Peabody and Sherman fuck with time and they don't care.
yeah,
No,
Doc
they're
and Marty
both
do care.
careful. It's just that like Doc
No,
and Marty
like-
specifically outlined to be more like cautious.
Yeah.
that's the main point in it is that they're Mr.
Well,
Peabody,
I mean,
even if it's like not going to be too detrimental, like these things start to add up. Doc and Marty are going to fit in better. They're going to work together a lot better. Marty's going to be a far less of an anchor than Sherman is, and then they're just far more responsible. And the Doc's job can be to the point where all of reality is threatened because, I didn't mind causing this tower to tip and to actually save this one person's life. And because that person was supposed to die at that time, now all of reality is at threat because of the Death Eaters coming in to kill everyone.
Well, that doesn't always happen, though. We established that before in Sherlock versus Doctor Who.
Yeah, but that's more of a plot hole.
Yeah, that's more of a plot hole. In Doctor Who, you really aren't supposed to save anyone that's not supposed to be saved. That's a huge thing.
If it doesn't occur again, it's just like a fucking
the times where
I don't think
the
we actually
times where
count
where it doesn't occur is usually early Doctor Who, or it's a freak accident where they just don't recognize it.
Yeah, we should follow the rules that they play. It's supposed to be a big thing you're not supposed to do.
Doctor Who is very inconsistent in that regard, but it is a set rule that you're not supposed to do that sort of stuff.
Right.
I think both of them would be relatively good doctors, but when it comes down to it, one of them is actually built to be very cautious with time. And also he's working with somebody who he doesn't have to watch out for to cause all these problems. Like Sherman is Peabody is very smart and he's very capable, but Doc is, I'd say, just as smart. He's built time.
Doc Brown is really fucking smart.
No,
sure.
Again,
can you do like
it's
fucking
like a super
Sherlock
smart
Holmes level
scientist
like
versus,
instantaneous deductions? Because Peabody can.
I'll be honest, Mr. Peabody's intelligence thing, they make him use fancy words to say something that was very it's still smart, but the whole sewer thing where he was I deduced that there was a sewer under here because I noticed the lines of sewer. That was relatively.
There was
basic
way
logic.
more to it than just that, though.
No,
he had to wait for the exact moment where the sun would glint off of Sherman's glasses at one specific angle.
Yes, but my point was that they were using fancy words to make it sound a lot more impressive. But when it comes down to it, their big things are they invented time travel even with the most basic of items. He got trapped in Troy and still managed to make the wave act, and then Doc got trapped in the Wild West and could easily still make the Delore or the flux capacitor. And then Doc does do calculations on the spot, especially when it comes to the cartoon.
I got a question for for the Doctor Who buffs. How often are the companions put in a situation where they have to do in a really dangerous situation the Doctor can't help them? Where the companion has to do
all the fucking time.
It's the main fucking way they cause conflict.
Marty is capable on his own. He does a lot of the movies on his own. Sherman, if he's alone, he's gonna die. That kid's gonna fucking die.
I'm thinking I'm kind of siding with if it was just Peabody and Doc, I think like his smarts are a lot more tailored to this because he's a history buff. He's a lot more sociable. Like, but then when you add in Marty.
Morty.
Oh my god. I do actually feel like Sherman is like kind of dead weight in this. And if
now to be fair, being a history buff usually doesn't matter in Doctor Who because surprisingly they fuck with history very little. They kind of visit it, but they don't need to know the knowledge.
Also Doc has experience. He has shown knowledge on a lot of history.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of Doctor Who adventures actually just take place in the present day.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time they'll just go to the current day and have to stop aliens and stuff. So, I mean, another angle worth looking at this is literally just like, I mean, fucking alien invaders come down, the Daleks.
Yeah, what are they gonna do against the Daleks? Like, what are they gonna do against one Dalek? Because one Dalek is wiping out a civilization.
Butter brought up that one that wiped out a
meteor destroying shit.
I do want to say also a counter, like even if he's more tailored intelligence-wise, he's not tailored for the issues that he caused by messing up with the time stream. Like he obviously doesn't care that much about it. Where Doc and Marty, at least they're tailored to be cautious with it. And even between those two, I'd rather be cautious about it because Doc is a genius. What stops him from just picking up a book and reading what he doesn't already know? And like he knows events in time. The cartoon shows him going back to like certain big events.
World War II, I think.
Where are we all standing on this one right now?
I'm going for Doc and Marty.
I'm kind of leaning more towards them.
Yeah, I think if it does, especially if it does come down to like that scenario of if a Dalek comes down, from what Butters brought up, I do think Doc and Marty would be better suited for that. So I'll concede.
All right.
I really like this one though.
I do agree that Peabody would be a very good Doctor still.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Last point.
Be a good Doctor.
I'm just saying,
you already won. What do you?
You already won, man.
No.
This is taking it in.
No, last point.
You really got to a little more in my stomach right on you.
I'm just saying.
Let me just pour salt in the wound real quick.
I think he's trying to make a funny, guys.
I'm just saying that. Okay, so Sherman is like 8 to 10 years old, depending on the cartoon or movie. And Mr. Peabody got him when he was relatively more in his adult phase. He's a beagle, and they only live 15 years.
Yeah, so well, you know, also invented the Zoom.
Speaking of immortality and angels, and I guess Cuphead and Mugman versus Panty and Stocking.
Oh yes, Cuphead and Mugman versus Panty and Stocking. This is a long scenario.
I want you guys to pause the video and think to yourselves, who is debating for Cuphead and Mugman?
Yeah. I'm sure
you get two guesses and the first one does not count.
Okay. It was a normal day in these duos' lives. Well, as normal as it can be, with these iconic duo of siblings. Cuphead and Mugman, the heroes of the Inkwell Isle, are off on a quest with Miss Chalice to recover the ingredients of the Wonder Tart, which have the power to bring back Miss Chalice full-time with the power of Chef Saltbaker's astral cookie. Though, while shipping out a recent order for an unknown buyer, he accidentally drops 2 other cookies in the box. Enter Panty and Stocking, the Anarchy Sisters, receiving a package that was promised to contain an ultimate dessert, but to their shock, only had 2 cookies, while Stocking was insistent on having both Panty swipe. What the fuck is this? There are no periods. This is all just an ongoing sentence. Panty swipes one for herself out of curiosity. This, along with Cuphead and Mugman arguing over who should have the cookie, both parties end up taking a bite during a heated argument with each other, this causing them to swap worlds and help their newfound allies in an attempt to get back home. Can Panty and Stocking defeat all the bosses of the Inkwell Isle and prepare the Wonder Tart, or can Cuphead and Mugman survive the demons on the attack in Panty and Stocking's universe? Both parties?
That was a lot of words for what amounted to they swapped.
Yeah, they just swapped worlds.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, I'm going for Cuphead and Mugman. So.
This is also important, though. They said both parties will have assistance by Miss Chalice and Garterbelt, respectively.
Though Cuphead and Mugman do get Garter, which is, I think, if they did not have him, it's literally unwinnable. Cool. I'm very good.
Okay. So Cuphead and Mugman. Oh wait, who's going for Panty Stock? Is that Duggo?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, okay, no shock. Cuphead and Mugman go first. Rivet, go ahead.
Okay, so so I'll be honest. I haven't seen that much Panty and Stocking. What I did watch, I fucking hated. So, fingers crossed, I can win. But from what I can gather, swordsmanship is important, and we see in the Cuphead show that Mugman is actually a fantastic swordsman, effortlessly defeating a giant monstrous crab in sword combat after picking up a sword pretty much for the second time in his entire life. In some of the promotional materials, I've seen Esther Winchester from the DLC lasso up the Cup trio, and while that's fine in their case, I know that when Panty and Stocking get restrained, they get really horny and distracted.
Oh my god.
I hate this. I hate this so much. Panty and Stocking's guns and whatnot have clogged up before, whereas the Cup duo's weapons don't really have any room for error. I think that ultimately Garter Belt is a bit more of a help than Miss Chalice was, because no matter what, against Chef Saltbaker, depending on who is currently a ghost at the time of the Wonder Cookie's usage, they're gonna get captured by Chef Saltbaker anyway. So it's gonna be 2 versus Chef Saltbaker at the end anyway. But Garter Belt is gonna be able to help them all the way through the adventure. And but not to mention, I mean, only 2 can be on the battlefield at once. That's how the cookie works. It swaps your physical corporeal being with another, so you're turned into a ghost, allowing a dead person to take your place. In this case, Chalice. So, while Chalice is definitely suited for the game, that just means that either Panty or Stocking are going to be out of commission when the final boss rolls around, which isn't great. When you consider that Chef Saltbaker is an insanely hard boss that, again, is designed around Cuphead and Mugman's arsenals. Meanwhile, I think Cuphead and Mugman have a way a way more adaptable arsenal. Not only just off of the swords, but also the animator's pencil, which could allow them to erase others from existence, or redraw like lost body parts and such. Definitely helps that just in general they have Toon Force able to regenerate from a ton. They can Cuphead stretched his limbs across an entire amusement park, so melee range has definitely helped out a lot there. They aren't friends with Canteen Hughes, so they won't have him to help out in Dog on Dog fight, which is a pretty integral part of that fight. And I mean, from what I can tell, Panty and Stocking take on a lot of demons and ghosts and angels and stuff, all 3 of which Cuphead and Mugman have harmed and defeated before. So I don't think there's any question that they can hurt and damage the foes that Panty and Stocking can take on. And I guess just final thing, when Cuphead or Mugman die, they are able to revive the other. And now thanks to the Parry Heart Ring, they're capable of actually regaining lost health, mid gameplay by parrying. And Panty and Stocking is a pretty fucking bright and colorful series. There's plenty of pink around, so I think that even if they are revived and aren't at peak physical condition, they're quick and nimble enough to get a couple more parries in and get their health back up again. Helps that they have access to the magic lamp that has Jimmy inside of it, who can increase their health significantly. He's in the Cuphead universe, but in the comic, it's shown that Cuphead actually stumbles across the magic lamp himself and now has just access to it. So I think he could still be able to summon Jimmy and get the extra health from him. And also, while I was researching, I found an instance of Stocking being slightly racist. So,
what?
I think that the winners. Yeah, the winners are Mugman.
Alright, good debate. Good debate.
I have not seen much of the show, so I could have totally gotten it wrong, but
I do have a bunch of stuff written down here. I'll say Penny and Stocking, this is the first thing I have written. Basically, their job to just go in, take out their targets, and move on. It'll take longer for some, but that's just generally their job. Sometimes they'll just treat it like it's like pest control or something. And they have more of that than even all the Cuphead bosses. Plus, Cuphead bosses move along certain patterns, and if these are figured out, it'd be easier to deal with than a lot of the more unpredictable things that Penny and Stocking have had to deal with. Stocking specifically could eat a lot of what Baroness von Bonbon throws at her, although I wouldn't try eating all of it, of course. Then again,
I'm sorry, Ducko, you only have to deal with the DLC for some fucking reason. You don't have to deal with the base game bosses.
yeah. This is a really weird scenario. They don't have to do the base game.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut your debate. It's like the main game is them fighting the devil. Why are Penny and Stocking not fighting the devil?
I
think it's probably because Panty and Stocking only has the one season to go through, so only having one aisle is more balanced instead of 3.
Whatever, yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, but good debate so far. Sorry.
Bon again, but I don't know. So angelic weapons would specifically be a detriment to ghostly or demonic entities, as that's what they're designed to take on, which would make things slightly easier than having to go through like everything that the Cuphead and Mugman have to automatically go through. It would also be a lot more direct in this regard. Like they would just go up and just like Stocking would like slit one of them their throats or some shit. Oh my god. Not to mention that Panty can apparently take any underwear and turn it into a gun. So if she could take the underwear from a fucking enemy or something and turn it into another gun. And Stocking, she goes skillfully and fast enough with her katanas that she can deflect bullets and send out slicing waves of energy. And obviously Cuphead and Mugman also have guns, but Panty also has a lot of guns herself, mainly focused with her handguns, sniper rifles, machine guns, shotguns, and submachine guns. She prefers her angelic weapons as they're more powerful, and she does not like the smell of gunpowder, apparently. Angelic forms and calling upon heaven can allow them to heal, use angel wings, generally be a lot physically stronger, and summon extra weapons such as giant saw blades, extra machine guns, and the ultimate weapon, which can destroy a big city. And I will admit, Panty and Stocking are absolutely even more into their own vices than Cuphead and his pal Mugman are. I'll admit to that. But I will say that they're at least slightly more mature and less naive than Cuphead and his pal Mugman. I'd say Cuphead and his pal Mugman would be drawn into vices in Panty and Stocking's world simply because they might, unfortunately, be easy to manipulate. What Panty and Stocking mainly have to worry about is... I mentioned Baroness von Bonbon again, but she's not in this. Damn. But,
Shit. I really like Baroness von Bonbon.
I'm so sorry. Yes, I actually the eating point is still good because Chef Saltbaker's attacks are primarily food related. So
yeah, that's the only thing that Panty and Stocking.
Also, the cow one turns into a bunch of sausages.
Panty will do a lot, but most of
do a lot with those sausages. If you don't.
Oh dear, most of the Cuphead characters, I don't see her necessarily being oh, I want to jump on that.
I'm so glad
they're not like me.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
They are not just like me for real.
Jesus Christ,
okay. Adam. So I think and even then they might just eat Stocking might just eat everything that Chef Saltbaker throws at her, and they're also questing to get a symbol like a big giant sweet, so that might motivate stalking more as well. And this last point is Cuphead and Mugman don't have a way to exercise spirits, which makes it much more difficult for them to take down their respective foes in their world. There's a specific process to it. So that's the end of what I wrote down. So there you go.
All right.
All right.
I got a question.
Can't got about.
Yeah, Garter can exercise the spirits. Just wearing them down will be a little tough.
Okay.
In a stats equalized type scenario, could Cuphead? Do you think that they could beat Scanty and Nisox, who are basically just like the demonic versions of Panty and Stalking?
It is funny to think that we know exactly. Oh wait, no. Oh wait, no, that's weird. I was like, it's funny because we know exactly what demonic Cuphead and Mugman look like and act like, but if it's just Panty and Stocking, pretty much just evilized. I don't fucking know.
I don't think they're specifically like the evil versions of them. I just know there are like just two girls, named Scanty and Nisox.
Yeah, they basically have their same weapons.
They're the ones who are like neater, right?
Yeah, Retep, yeah.
I'm Retep and I'm evil.
I mean, I don't think Cuphead and Mugman have to use they don't have to use the underwear weapons. I'm pretty sure they could just use their normal shots.
Yeah.
I mean, they down, yeah.
I feel like they would. That's probably
what dog on dog fight. What's stopping Panty from just staying at ground level, pulling out a sniper rifle and shooting them down?
Yeah.
Well, one of them is inside a giant ass fucking dog like mech plane the whole time.
Yeah, shoot the plane and they're going down with it.
Actually, I got a question. Because isn't one of the Cuphead bosses the size of like an actual mountain, and they have to manipulate their size to even fight with some of these people?
Glumstone is a mountain who comes to life. Yeah.
So
yeah, but the Cups are not that much smaller than him though, so size inconsistencies in Cuphead.
That's likely through their size manipulation, because they're also like the size of the mice in the original.
Size manipulation? I thought that was just like it's just a cartoon. I don't think that's like.
Yeah,
I think it is implied that they can
calling that an ability.
It's implied that they can shrink down because of the plane.
Mm-hmm. And Werner Worm boss fights.
Also, they fight a mouse, and they're the size of the mouse in that fight.
I feel so bad for Cuphead and Mugman. I feel like they just be very uncomfortable with all the situations they're having.
And these fucking 10-year-old guys just like, I want hot dogs.
Absolutely.
Although, wait, no, I feel like it's worse because isn't Garter a nonce?
Oh
no! He's constantly making advances on a brief.
Well,
oh no!
If he into cups like that,
he fucking better not be.
I don't think not the Cubs, but like he always is trying to make advances on Garter. I feel this is kind of gross that they're in.
Okay, well,
a genuine problem I think they will have is the fact that they didn't make a deal with the devil. So I'm not sure if like the holy angelic spirit, which is a pair of panties, mind you, will be on their side. God, this sucks.
Well, they made a deal with the devil, but in both timelines, they kicked the devil's ass and freed the entire Inkwell Isle of them.
That's fair. Oh, I don't want.
They're still very susceptible to sin.
I mean, yeah, but no, I don't think as much now.
But Cuphead and Mugman are not going to try to pork with anyone.
Wait, susceptible to sin?
To be fair, only
they're liable to like do sinful things.
That's also only Cuphead.
Also, like, why does that matter? Panty like fucks every dude she sees.
That's
what are we
fair,
even saying?
Like Mugman is the anchor that keeps Cuphead to the ground, and if they have another person there who's overlooking them, like the only reason that in the Cuphead show I think they get into the level of mischief that they do is because Chalice is more akin to Cuphead, where she encourages like the bad habits, whereas Mugman is like the reluctant one. But I don't think that's going to be the case with Garterbelt, who I believe is a man of God. He's not sinful except for being a nonce. Except for that little sin there.
What I'm reading from the wiki, in the Canyon Stalking universe, sex is not a sin, and Garter is very into a BDSM.
Sex isn't a sin. Well, I don't think Cuphead would have to worry about that anyway.
Yeah, no.
Right. So, I'm trying. Let me think. Okay, so slitting Cuphead bosses' throats. I don't know if that's gonna work. Literally, Esther Winchester stayed alive when she got turned into literal sausages. I don't think slitting her throat is gonna kill her. Chef Salt Baker is made of glass and got literally shattered, and he was still okay afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
In fairness, Esther Winchester got turned into sausages because her fucking vacuum thing backfired on her and like sucked her up and turned her into sausages. She transformed into them on her own.
True, like you can't like.
Yeah, but she still survived. She still survived as turning into sausages.
I think.
Well, there's a world of difference between like getting turned into sausages like as a cartoon character, just getting your fucking throat slit.
Penny can have to do a lot of the carrying because you got the guns and the bombs and like actual ways to kill them.
Here's the thing. Like,
that's the thing. Penny and Stocking. I think Penny and Stocking are going to be very much out of their element because these characters abide by a different law of like how hard they are to kill. Because like, I mean, yeah, there's a world of difference between getting turned into sausages and getting your throat slit, but like, no human would ever survive getting turned into sausages.
They're
Humans
also using
getting their throat slit.
This like angelic power is explicitly like perfect for taking on these demonic enemies, and I don't think in like the delicious last course these are inherently evil, like demonic creatures. They just have.
I think there's only like one.
There's really only like the devil spirit thing.
Yeah, there's only one boss
fight. That's the only boss I see them excelling at.
I don't, and that one is actually a little bit of an iffy one because I don't know if Penny and Stocking would figure that out to find that one.
Well, I mean that's
because there's like a puzzle to get to it.
Yeah, you have to go investigate the graveyard, talk to the elderly ghost guy, then go and talk to the competitioners.
But even then, you don't get an ingredient from it, so it's not required.
No, it's not essential. But it would give them the relic. That would be pretty handy. But I don't think they'd get it. I don't think that one's essential. But that's the only one that I could see their weapons being especially good against. What are you thinking, Ducko?
I am kind of thinking that
I win.
I am kind of thinking.
I'm trying.
Think.
Literally, my only like mishap with Cuphead and Mugman is I'm not sure if they could handle a fight with Scanty and Neosocks, who have the same like general abilities as these two, but they're just a lot more cruel and violent. I can see like even if like Cuphead if stats are equalized, they definitely have like the Toon Force to keep up. It's just that like the mental game. I just feel really bad for them in this situation. I'll be honest.
I mean, they've gone against the literal devil, and they have the ability to revive each other.
It's the devil's different than like these two like sadistic women with a bunch of like artillery, firepower, and weapons of torture.
I think actually a better example would be Chef Saltbaker, where every single one of his attacks is him taking anthropomorphic food and brutally like slicing them up, smashing them into pizzas, all that jazz. Like that's pretty fucked. That's probably the most sadistic thing in Cuphead.
Cuphead eats an apple in front of somebody who's made of apples. Did he?
That's true.
In the Mac trailer, yeah.
Mugman just kept going, but Cuphead put it behind his back. Weirdly out of character.
yeah, Mugman just kind of a blank stare. He didn't care.
I think it's cartoon enough, and they don't show that kind of like. Even if the devil's not as bad, the devil is supposed to be that kind of level of torture to them, and they seem just fine. They don't seem that phased by.
I'm seeing on for feats for them, they once accidentally destroyed a mountain. Like they were fighting with enough power to accidentally make one combust, and they also fought Santa Claus.
Okay.
They fought a fake Santa who captured the real Santa.
Okay.
That's what I read.
Well, Cuphead and Mugman defeated the devil who temporarily was Santa.
I mean, they fought. They
Checkmate.
fought a mountain, so.
And also, I'm seeing that their angelic forms would give them passive healing, which seems pretty busted in Cuphead.
Passive healing?
Yes,
Like to what extent?
Let me see.
Okay. Quick question I got. How long are we gonna assume this would take Cuphead and Mugman to do? Because the DLC is not very long to get
no, it
through.
just says that they have like healing.
Oh wait, is it who can do it first or who can like do it better?
I think they both do it, honestly.
Yeah.
But if it's
Both can do it.
I'm just saying that might be another factor.
It might be a really weighted task.
Yeah, if it's who can do it first, from what I can tell, Penny and Stocking's like enemies show up periodically. Like they wait for them to appear, whereas Cuphead and Mugman actively seek out the people. They have their hit list. They just fucking bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Well, then in that case, it's easier for Penny and Stocking.
Yeah, if that is the scenario, then I concede. But if it's just like
Max?
if it's just a matter
Max,
of doing it
reread the
efficiently.
scenario for us.
What part of it?
To see
the win condition.
The win condition?
Go to the very
Do
end.
they need to do it
Penny and
faster?
Stocking defeat all the bosses on Inkwell Isle 4 and prepare the Wonder Tart? Or can Cuphead and Mugman survive the demons? It's just
So it's just who can do it better, I guess.
It's just, it doesn't really say if it's first or not. I guess just whoever does
I guess that's up to you guys to decide.
Well, I don't want to
sounds
make it
of it,
first because that sounds unfair to me. I have no way of winning in that case. Unless Penny and Stocking do an absolutely horrible job at taking down these bosses, which I don't think they would. Yeah, I think they would get it done first because their task is very obvious.
I think they have motivation in it too. Like I said, Stocking would want the Wonder Tart.
Do you think one of them would want to fuck Chef Saltbaker?
No.
Yeah.
He's just a salt shaker.
Was that Adam right there?
You'd be surprised.
Said,
The number of people who I've seen simp for Chef Saltbaker is fucking ludicrous.
But Penny and Stocking are not Tumblr users. They're not fucking attracted to Chef Saltbaker.
My last drop in the bucket for this one. They both could definitely do it. I just really do not like Cuphead and Mugman in this really like this really sexual scenario. If that could possibly stop them, the only hang up is them being uncomfortable, then I would probably lean my vote to Penny and Stocking because I just that's real. I feel bad for them. I don't want them.
I don't think it would. I feel like what would actually happen is just they wouldn't understand any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The closest I can think is just one time, like, the closest I can think to anything sexual in Cuphead is when they were fighting Werner Vermin in the Cuphead show, and Mugman put his hand into a block of cheese and made his hand a seductive piece of cheese.
Ugh. No, thank you.
We're standing on this one, even though
Cuphead, she's bending over. What does that mean?
If she's bending,
Taking off her trousers, Cuphead.
If she's bending over, Cuphead will shoot a charge shot right up her asshole and blow her up from the inside. That's what will happen.
Oh, okay, I'm voting Penny and Stocking off of that one.
I'm voting Penny and Stocking as well. Fuck.
Alright, that's Penny and Stocking.
Sorry, Ollie.
What the fuck?
I can't say that shit.
I think Cuphead.
Ollie, you posted cringe. You lose.
I think.
No, my point is just that Cuphead and Mugman wouldn't get distracted by it and just fucking breeze past it and try to get out of their way as quickly as possible.
I do actually lean towards Cuphead and Mugman specific because I feel like the bosses in Cuphead would be much harder to kill thanks to the more cartoony nature. And the fact that
they blew up a whole mountain. Penny and Stocking is not this gritty, serious show. It's also cartoony.
I think the fact that like all of the Cuphead bosses can just be beaten by hitting them enough. Like you don't have to kill them. You can just beat on them until they are no longer able to fight.
Right.
Yeah, they do.
But they literally have the person who can do exactly what Penny and Stocking do.
Mm-hmm.
Which person? I wasn't here.
Garner just,
but
game ends them.
But either way, both teams are going to consist of 2 in that case, because Chalice has to either be Outcommission or one of Panty and Stocking have to be. It can never be the 3 of them.
Says that like they don't want to take another bite out of the cookie because that's what swapped them. So Chalice wouldn't even be applicable.
Yeah, so it's just Panty
Stocking. The scenario fucking just didn't even give them actually Chalice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This scenario ain't it. But if we're using just Panty and Stocking can blow up a mountain, then why can't I just say Cuphead pulled the moon? Like, are we using that?
No. I'm just saying, like Larry's saying that they're not strong enough, or they're too gritty to like.
I'm not saying it like it's impossible. I'm just saying it's gonna be much harder for them to get through this.
It's just like
I don't agree. They're both cartoony characters as well.
It's Ducko's point of like, oh, they'll go up and slit their throat. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, no, that's not how you don't want to argue them from that angle.
I wasn't saying like that specifically, but I was just saying in general they would try to be more direct.
Well, with these bosses,
Covered and Mugman are pretty direct.
How long has it been going?
Let me see.
Jeez,
this is our second one.
Okay. We got time for one more after this one, then.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a short one.
Well, let's just put this to a vote real quick.
Yep. All right. Well, I mean, like, I don't entirely agree, but if people have come to the conclusion that Cuphead and Mugman can't win because it's too sexual, then I mean,
I thought it was a joke.
That was a joke.
That was a joke.
Yeah. I vote for Cuphead and Mugman.
I abstain. I was not here for half of this, so I feel I shouldn't vote.
I still think Cuphead and Mugman is more able to do this, especially if they have someone who. Especially if they have someone on the side that can take out the bosses.
I think I am slightly leaning Panty and Stocking.
DJ, what do you going for?
It's 2-3 with DJ and Adam.
I'll probably do Cuphead and Megman.
All right, Adam.
Adam,
it's up to you. Don't be horny if you vote. Just be honest.
What's the difference?
Yeah, I'll vote Cuphead Mugman too. Alright. They're not gonna
Yay!
win that point.
Let's make this last one quick.
I think I can make
it.
Brandon, I got you.
Guys, no going overboard with this next one.
Don't worry. I got you. I got my debate set up.
Yeah,
let me try to find it here.
Good luck, you guys.
Okay, Batman versus Spider-Man. Batman the Brave versus Ultimate Spider-Man. Scenario: trying to give a lesson on how to catch a Batman villain until Spider-Man takes the camera away from him, talking to the viewer.
All right, buddy, you want to go?
11 out of 10 scenario. I gotta say.
Oh, Batman comes first.
Okay, so this very complete scenario, I got my great debate for. So I need to specify that this isn't the comic versions. That is a very important part because else we'll get into. I can't bring in the magical stuff Batman has, like his crystals and all that.
Oh, God.
So, like, when I started looking through it, one of my biggest issues is that Spider-Man's not nearly as busted since it's not his comic version, where Batman still has a huge arsenal. Now, I went through the series a bit so I could make a little list of, like, arsenals to bring up. So I got that. So also, Batman is much smarter. Like, I think like looking through his history, he's clearly got a larger set of intelligence feats. Like episode 12 really shows is the peak of it. He's very good at multitasking.
Huh? I'm lost.
So season 2, episode 8. Season 2, episode 8.
Is it just
really
bringing up episodes?
Don't interrupt his argument.
Let him cook.
Sorry.
So season 2, episode 8 really shows his speed and ability to multitask. Batman is much stealthier than Spider-Man too when it comes down to it. I don't think I need to justify that. He might be less magical as well, but he has fought magical beings before in this show. And I know these seem like small points, but that's why I was saving my big points for right now.
All right, well argued, butter. All right, Brandon, that's gonna take a lot to beat that.
I'm underprepared for this. But, I mean, your point about episode 12 is really good. Like, I don't. Okay. So the thing with this scenario is that Batman is put at a huge disadvantage because Spider-Man took the camera away from him. So Batman is going into this without his camera. I know we're not arguing with the comics, but you gotta remember, this is Batman Brave and the Bold, the bravest and the most bold Batman there is. So the fact that Spider-Man was able to steal his camera, let alone stealing his camera, and the fact that Batman doesn't have his camera anymore really hampers his ability. Like,
Come on, Brandon, you also got fourth wall breaking.
Hey, let me continue.
Okay.
So I know it may seem disadvantageous for Spider-Man to explain how to catch a Batman villain since he's not Batman, Brave and the Bold, he's Ultimate Spider-Man. But the thing is, so Spider-Man's the one in the driver's seat in this situation because he has the camera. So now
he's got the piece de resistance, dude.
If Spider-Man needs like photos from a camera or takes pictures from a camera or just needs some camera-related issues, I mean, the scenario pointed out that Spider-Man has the camera. I don't really know what Batman is supposed to do if he doesn't have the camera.
This scenario is kind of unfair. This is a kind of unfair scenario.
So I mean, I will give you episode 12, and the scenario did say he was trying to give a lesson on how to catch a Batman villain until Spider-Man took the camera from him.
Maybe we should change the scenario so Spider-Man didn't take the camera. It seems unfair.
A bit of a pun. Ultimately, I think superior. I think because it was superior holding of the camera, his ability to steal the camera from Batman, and
as good as a point as that is, season 3, you know.
No,
no, Butter, you can't fucking finagle your way out of this. You know you've lost. You know he took the camera.
Season 3, though. Season 3, though.
Season 3 cannot undo the fact that he took the camera.
Season 3 just washes Ultimate Spider-Man. The problem is he doesn't have his camera on him.
Oh my god!
What? All right, great GGM.
We gotta put to a vote. It's a close man.
Yep. I have a piece of crucial evidence. I just need to get it. Need to copy it over.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Right, hold on. I'm just getting the image. This will only take a second.
Max, cut it off here.